Welcome to this week's episode of the Lads Film Thing podcast, where four friends discuss a film and generally have a good time. And be warned, there will be spoilers. So you've got me, Lucy, Abby,
Hi,
Dan,
hello,
and Sam.
Hey.
This week's film was a joint choice where we watched The Killer, the recently released David Fincher film about a contract killer who has to react to a job gone wrong.
Handjob.
What?
hand job.
Yes, a handjob gone wrong.
Handjob gone wrong.
oh my god, what does that entail?
Oh my god.
Oh lord. Quickly, should we go round and just say, like, what were we expecting?
I was expecting a good film, and I was not presented with such.
Yeah, I think the same. Like, David Fincher's made some excellent films. Seven, Social Network, Benjamin Button.
Well, so
Loved
this
all
is
of
the
those.
thing. Somebody put the other day, who's your favourite director, on Twitter. Somebody had answered and said David Fincher. Literally said Zodiac, Seven. There's something else that's like crimey that he did. And I was like, is David Fincher my favourite director?
Yeah.
Like that literally. So then when we said we were doing this, I was like, this is going to be amazing.
I thought it was the first half an hour. So I guess, let's quickly go through. But the first half an hour, he was just like getting set up, wasn't he, to do that shooting across the road. And I was like, okay, so the first half an hour is going to be this. And then I can't wait for the next
Then
bit.
the film will start.
Yeah, it's going to really kick off. And then it was still just, it never really picked up pace. I don't know what everyone else thought.
No.
Agreed.
So he sets himself up for the shooting across the road. But then it takes a bit of a turn when he misses his target and then hits that other woman that's just like dancing around in front of the window.
Dominatrix, if you will.
Yeah.
And I'm not like an expert sniper, but there were definitely points before that where I thought, was he not taking the shot? Like,
Yeah.
he's got a clear
No, he
open
had
shot.
to get his
Why did he have
heart
to do
rate.
that? I missed that through the.
Because that's what keeps you steady. And it was 63. It wasn't under 60 when he did it. He was like, I'm just going to have to take it now.
Oh, really?
Did it. And that presumably is why it didn't work.
I guess that's why we're not professional snipers. So.
No. And the
Probably.
way you set yourself up there, Dan, was like, I'm not an expert sniper.
Yeah.
I have sniped a couple of times.
Still a novice in these sniping
Exactly.
circles.
Like I've hit the prostitute like 50% of the time.
Michael Fassbender, not looking great in this film.
Oh, old as fuck.
I'm assuming this was part of the role to like look.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was a bit disappointing because he's really good in X-Men.
Yeah.
Like, and he's got, like, I was thinking about this in X-Men, he's got such a good backstory. There's like, if I remember that movie right, he's living in the woods and there's like loads about his wife and kid. I think I've got that right.
That's in the third one. So that's his future backstory.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yeah. But it's so enjoyable to watch him in that role and to like get really into the character and stuff. And in this one, you literally know nothing.
Yeah.
You literally just take him as he is there. And I just found it really dull.
And he's kind of saying, like, because he's just this, like, emotionless person, this is why it's the right job for him. But it's like, again, does not make it entertaining for us.
Yeah,
somebody at
exactly.
home.
Didn't make it entertaining, but I did think he was kind of good, though. At first, I saw him and I thought, oh, I've not seen him very much stuff. I've only seen him as Raymond Holt's partner in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, or Sean, the
Different man.
demon boss in The Good Place. And then I realised it's Michael Fassbender, not the guy from those things, and they look almost exactly the same.
Yeah.
Although I know who that guy
Oh,
is.
yes, I know
And
who you mean.
he could be
Yeah.
like a cousin of his.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Oh,
look
yes.
very similar.
Yeah.
And I really thought it was Raymond
Especially with the
Holt's
personality
partner.
of that.
Yeah. But it is not him. It's Michael Fassbender.
Because a lot of the start of the film was just him talking, and you're like, even so monotone, you're like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, but I suppose if that was his kind of, that's what he was asked to do. He did that well. The
Yeah,
acting was
That's the
good.
thing.
Yeah.
I felt like he
Interesting.
made the most
Yeah,
Yeah.
of that
definitely.
as a role.
It's almost disappointing that he was cast in such a boring role because you're like, oh,
Yeah.
come on, like, we don't like your character, but
Whereas the other guy,
we love you.
yeah, perfect. I think there was like 3 or 4 scenes of this film which were actually interesting.
Yeah.
And him escaping Paris was quite interesting.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But then if you could just condense that all down to 10 minutes, I could have my evening back.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That first, like you said, that first bit was the kind of, it was a surprise and it was like the plot twist. But then after that, it was just like, okay, he's just cleaning house. He's going through this
But I don't
person's going
care,
to die.
yeah.
This person's going to die. Okay.
Yeah, we paused it there, and actually at that first point after the first half an hour, we were like, it's interesting, it's kind of kept us kind of gripped, it's different than other films that we've seen, so I was like, I can see how this has got hype.
It felt tense, like it was about to explode into something amazing.
Yeah.
Then there was no explosion.
Yeah.
Do you want to take us to the next bit up?
So, I mean, it's fair to say that normally we try and write out a plot, but we kind of did not want to spend any time on this film. So much of this is from Wikipedia. So the killer goes back to his compound in the Dominican Republic, and he finds that his girlfriend, Magdala, has been attacked.
Which, like, if you're a killer, people break into houses all the time. You do not then buy yourself a compound with no walls. Like, the most easiest to break into place in the world.
Yeah, it
like,
was all open, wasn't it? Just curtains.
Yeah.
People can get through curtains. It's
really
the
weird,
easiest thing in the world.
really weird choice for somebody off the trade.
Also, weird use of the word compound, Wikipedia, unless he used that word. Because
When does a house become a compound?
Exactly.
In my mind, it needs more like outbuildings and stuff.
And it needs like a outer perimeter,
Yeah,
surely.
like, surely a compound's not home. That is where he was living, wasn't it? It was his house.
Yeah.
Just
Although
with no windows.
sometimes, like when I think compound, I immediately think of Osama bin Laden. Like that whole like having an area that you live in, and you don't go outside of that area.
Yeah.
Like he was just like in there
like
with
a
his
safe
family and his
zone.
around
To me, it's
family.
like
and
where
stuff.
Bond has to get to in the last act of the film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did have a swimming pool and stuff in there, 'cause you saw that at the end, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, that's quite nice.
True.
But, I mean, your parents got a swimming pool
On the compound.
on the compound.
On the compound, yeah.
You should start calling it the compound when you go around there. I love what you've done with the compound.
So he goes to the hospital and he finds her, and her brother is there, who again, every person they introduce, you're like, okay, this is going to be someone I might be interested in this person, what they can do in their lives. Never ever goes anywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's a weird line there, which I was going to ask you about, 'cause I think maybe I missed it or it just didn't make any sense. But he says to the killer, "Oh, don't let her hear that you're here." Did you hear that? And I didn't know why. Like, they're together.
I think it was just because he didn't want to get her het up.
Oh, I see, because you're still recovering.
Yeah.
Is her
But again,
partner,
it was
though?
like a really intense line, which gave nothing.
Yeah, but maybe she'd be cross at him because he like screwed up his mission and now
True.
he
Paid
paid
the
the price
price.
for it. Type.
Yeah, Jinx.
Jinx again.
So then we find out that she was tortured, but she managed to escape, and the assassins fled in a taxi. And he goes to the taxi rank. Is it still called a taxi rank if it's
Yeah.
in the Dominican Republic?
I don't know.
Don't know.
Probably
I don't
not.
Well, the
actually know
rank
what
is
that
like-
is.
It's more like the headquarters, isn't it?
Okay. I've just realised I don't know what a taxi rank is.
I always think taxi rank is like where they all queue up and you get in a taxi rather than like the base of operations. The compound for the taxi.
The compound, the taxi compound. And then he finds the taxi driver, who again you're like, oh, this guy might be of interest. Bam, dead immediately.
Yeah, which I like. When you watch these films, there's going to be some collateral damage, but you think, well, all he did was do his job and took somebody from one place to another for money.
Yeah.
I know, obviously, like because of that, his girlfriend got beaten half to death. So there's some
but
personal
he didn't
stakes,
know
but-
that.
Yeah,
He didn't
Like
need to
we don't
die.
know.
yeah. I thought it was a bit of a mean choice to like kill him just for doing his job.
I think he was thoroughly unlikable. At the beginning, I was like, he's going to be likable. He's like a killer who does yoga. And
Oh, yeah.
it's going to be like, not a comedy thing, but just an interesting person that you like. Maybe he does killing less for fun, less for business, more for like moral stuff or whatever.
You never find out why he does it, though.
Well, it just seemed to
Yeah.
be literally like
Use the skill set.
the
doesn't it?
compound. Yeah, uses his skill set.
Yeah.
So he learns a bit about the assassins, and actually I missed this entirely because I think I was playing Candy Crush because I was bored by this point. But Wikipedia says a woman who resembled Q-Tip. You know, remember?
A Q-tip.
Yeah.
She's like tall and she's blonde.
Yeah.
What did you think I just said?
You said Q-Tip.
Resembles Q-Tip, which is a rapper. I thought you were saying a woman that resembles Q-Tip. I don't think you said A.
Yeah, I heard that without the
See,
A.
yeah.
Well, I didn't know that was a rapper, and now I'm going to have to look them up. But, I mean, I don't know what he looks like. Maybe she does resemble him.
She looks nothing like Q-Tip.
Okay. So that's cleared that up then.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, so after this, he travels to Hodges' office, which is the person that arranges the hits. And this bit was kind of good. So he dresses up as like a recycling bin type janitor type person.
Yeah, this was a bit interesting.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
is
again,
like
like flickers of hope.
yeah, some of like the good bits of like heist films where they're putting on a disguise.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, this is cool. And then he just gets in there and nail guns the guy. Yeah, I was a bit like, oh, okay, that's fine.
And
then
this was all in hopes of finding out who put the hit on him, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I think this is kind of something that I've seen other people picking up on. Is it's about like the story of like a hitman getting old and making mistakes and stuff like that. Because he made that mistake at first, you know, which has resulted in this whole cascade of events. And then he's counting how many seconds it'll take that guy to die.
Yeah, and he
fucks
just
that up.
dies.
Yeah.
But again, I wouldn't say that's an interesting premise for a film, really. Just someone who's getting older and is not as good at their job anymore, even if they are a hitman.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's pretty bad at your job, isn't it? Like, he did not kill the first person. That was his singular job.
Yeah.
He did kill someone else.
The taxi
That
driver,
was-
yeah.
Well, no,
No,
but also the dominatrix woman.
Oh, sorry.
That's another thing.
Yeah.
Was not supposed to
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah. So there's another woman there, Dolores, who I guess is like the secretary. Person.
She's my favourite character in this film.
Yes,
Actually,
me too.
or second favourite.
Who's your first favourite?
The expert.
Oh,
Oh, right. Okay. Tilda. Yeah. And so she knows who the assassins were that went and tortured the killer's partner. And she offers to give the killer the details in exchange for giving her a non-suspicious death so that her children can still claim her life insurance.
Which was a nice thing, I thought.
Yeah, yeah.
well, yeah, and with how he had been, like with the taxi driver and stuff, you literally didn't know whether he was actually going to go for that,
Yeah.
whether he was just going to be a twat and be like,
Yeah. Nah, mate.
no.
Yeah.
But then, so her death, it was like instantaneous.
Yeah.
You then, I mean, we're jumping forward. How long it took him to kill the brute? He can kill somebody in half a second.
Yeah.
Why doesn't he do that instead of sniping from across the street or doing a fight for ages? Like, he's got the skills.
I thought that, like, how long was he waiting there in that room?
Yeah.
I think that it was like a cinematic, what's the word, tool that they used that you didn't know how much time had passed. But I felt that fully added to the boredom because I was like, there's no sense of urgency. It literally could have been 6 months that he went back home to the Dominican Republic. I didn't feel, and suddenly he was on another plane. I don't want to see all of the stuff that was happening in the middle, but I was like, what timescale are we looking at here? Could be 5 years later. He's just gone about his life.
Yeah.
Gone and got a sandwich. Did some more yoga.
So the killer now has the details of the people that tortured his partner and put her in hospital. He goes down to Florida to find one of them, who is only known as the Brute. He goes in, he sedates the dog, then they have a fight.
Where he...
He doesn't stick the thing up
It
his
doesn't
butt.
stick up his
No.
butt, he falls on a
falls on it.
broken table when it goes up his...
Which I'm sure loads of people said that when they go to hospital. And be like, I fell on it.
Yeah.
There was a fight. I didn't stick this up my ass.
Yeah, an assassin broke in and put it up there.
I
And
wish we had a
so-
cool job where we would have a little story about that now. Wouldn't that be so good if we were just like, someone came in the other day,
No,
he had a beer bottle up there
Yeah,
or
that's not
something.
a cool job.
That's not a
Yeah,
cool
that's
job.
Because that job would
terrible.
involve
Actually
yeah.
sorting it. Good
Yeah.
point. But what if you're
Yeah.
the secretary that checked people in for those things?
Or you were the X-ray machine.
You'd have so many butts on you.
What's the show where they have to remove a light bulb from someone's butt? Is it Brooklyn Nine-Nine? Or have I made that
Or
up?
maybe.
There is something.
No,
Yeah.
isn't there? Who can remove? How do we remove it without it smashing?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's got the killer in it as well. So yeah, after the lengthy fight with the Brute, he finally kills him and then burns his house down. And then he goes to New York, where he's to find the other person who looks like Q-Tip.
Oh, that was the
The expert.
that.
Yes, and I'm
'Cause she
offended
looks
on her
like a
behalf.
Q-tip.
No, I'm offended.
Why?
Because that's her regular hair. Well,
That's her regular face and
yeah,
hair.
exactly.
Yeah.
Why
And
use
body
that as a
type.
thing?
But she does look like a Q-tip. So it's a fair...
No.
Yeah.
Well, she's tall, thin, light skin and light hair.
What do you think that's like a compliment? Like she might like that.
Be not a compliment, but it's...
Oh, stick thin. Like what? Blonde hair.
Little tuft of blonde.
Yeah.
I would love to clean out your ears.
You're not supposed to use them to clean your ears, are you?
Yeah, that is true.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I don't know
it's
what
very,
else you're supposed
I
to
don't
use
know
them
why they
for.
exist, but
Yeah. It's very clear. Do not stick them in your ears.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, please buy our product, but don't stick them in your ear. But The Expert, much more interesting person than the killer.
Yeah.
I would watch the film The Expert every day of the week, well, like one day of the week, and give it a higher score than I will probably give this film.
Probably.
Yeah.
It got to her and I thought, oh, great. Tilda Swinton's in this.
Yeah.
This is going to be great.
Me
She's
too.
brilliant.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
At last.
she was good, but she's in it for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
hell?
Yeah, let's just watch her going on an adventure killing people.
It was such a frustrating scene as well because he didn't speak.
Yeah.
She was just answering her own questions and just going on and I felt sorry for her. I
No,
was
because
like,
from what I've seen of that film, her doing all the lines, much better.
yeah, but come on. And she was like, oh, we should have had the ice cream now. He just wasn't giving her anything and it was frustrating. I was like, come on. I want to be in a room with Tilda Swinton.
Yeah. And she necked 4 whiskies, which was really
Oh, yeah.
impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
They'll be gone by the time you describe them. Blammo, blammo, blammo.
I feel like I'm understanding this film far better in the 10
Almost as
minutes
like
that we've spoken
you didn't
about.
really watch it.
No, I did really watch it, but I was not really interested. It's the problem.
I did miss a lot of this as well, just out of boredom.
Yeah.
My
I really
mind
enjoyed
was wandering. I was like, I don't.
The scene when she walked outside of him as well was really good, wasn't
Yeah.
it? That was really well
Yeah,
done.
that
That
good,
was well
actually.
done.
But for her, only
Yeah.
because of her.
Only,
Oh yeah, I forgot
Yeah.
he was there.
Yeah.
Which would have
Which
changed the
maybe
scene a
is
lot.
because he was good.
And even like when she fell down and he shot her in the head, and you saw that she did have a knife in her, so she was going to try and make a little.
Yeah.
Fine.
That was maybe the best bit of the whole
Yeah,
film, wasn't it?
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, even though I was sad, I wanted her to escape, and then I was sad when she got shot. But
And it was the right thing. Like, he knew what he would have done, so he knew what
yeah,
she was going to
true.
do.
Yeah. Can we just have a little moment of general appreciation for Tilda Swinton as a whole?
Sure.
She's the best.
She's really good.
Yeah,
She's
really good.
in everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
What else is she in, please?
She's the White Witch from Narnia.
Yes.
She's
Okay.
the ancient one
From-
from
yeah.
Doctor Strange
Strange, yeah.
Yeah.
and other things.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't
Other
remember anything else.
She's
stuff.
in Brooklyn Nine-Nine as Captain Raymond Holt's partner.
Oh, Captain Raymond Holt.
Over to you, Sam.
Thanks, Dan. So this leads the killer to his next destination of Chicago, where he is looking for Claiborne, the billionaire venture capitalist who took out the initial hit on the French chap, and he lives in a penthouse. So then we get the next kind of interesting bit, which is how he gets in there by doing the key fob replica and going to the gym and doing all that stuff. Which again, like I enjoyed that,
Yeah.
but there wasn't enough of it, and once he did that. So yeah, he makes it into Claiborne's apartment, and then he has the conversation as to what have I done to you? Why are you hiring these people to kill me? And it's really stupid in the end, isn't it? It's just, I didn't realise that was what it meant. He asked if I wanted it kind of tidied up, tie up loose ends. Sorry about that. Didn't realise they were going to try and kill you and your partner. And then, considering the killer has gone through all of these stages, being quite happy to kill Dolores, the taxi driver, he then just decides to let him go, which he's the least innocent person who is hiring murders of people, may not have been innocent people, but just,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. I think some people would say it points to like a character arc. Oh, he's learned to be forgiving or whatever. But it just kind of screams more of like just unbelievable in terms of what you've learned about the character over the
exactly.
Well,
past
that's the
2
thing.
hours.
Why would he suddenly learn that? Like,
Yeah.
he's had his whole life and career.
Yeah.
Why would any of this change anything at all?
And
Didn't
especially
make
after,
sense.
like you said, he killed the taxi driver, who's
Yeah.
literally just an innocent
nothing.
person. This
Yeah.
guy actually did order a hitman to kill someone, blah, blah, blah. He's not innocent.
2 days before, Dolores, who like helped him out.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, really weird. And then he just threatens him to say, if I ever come across you again, I'm going to kill you in a very gruesome way. So then after he's left Claiborne's penthouse, he then goes back to the Dominican Republic, where you see him reunited with Magdala by the pool. And the film ends.
That's it.
So now it's the time of the podcast where we give a score to the film. As always, we're looking at enjoyability, shareability, and masterpiece ability. Each lad will give a score out of 5 for those categories, meaning a total score of 60 for each film. The first category we'll look at is enjoyability. Luce.
A 1.
Ooh, Ab.
A 2.
Dan.
2, please.
And it's a number 2 for me. What's to say? It wasn't the most enjoyable film.
Yeah.
I think we've said it.
At the start, I found it so boring. It really reminded me of the first Hulk, the Eric Bana Hulk film, where it's like notoriously known. It's about 45 minutes into the film where he turns into the Hulk, and like that's far too long in a film. I had to pause it once he actually took the failed shot. It was 21 minutes, so that's how long it took until we got something actually happen. It's too long. Okay, so let's look at shareability. Lucy.
2.
Abby.
A 1.
Dan.
A 1.
And it's a 1 for me as well.
It's a big fat 1.
Luce, who do you want to share it with that we don't? Please don't be
Yes.
us.
No, not you guys.
We don't want
worry.
it.
And I just feel like this would appeal to some people. So there's probably a group of people I would share it with, but the conversation would go, I thought this film was terrible, but it's probably right up your street.
Yeah, if somebody annoyed me one day, I'd be like, oh, actually, I was
Yeah, there
there.
is that.
What a really good film for you.
Yeah. I think there's other films about assassins and people cleaning house and
Assassin's
stuff
Creed
like
has
that.
got Michael Fassbender in it, and that's a really good
What?
film.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh,
So I didn't maybe realise that.
That's amazing.
Now that's a film we want to
Yeah,
watch.
that's a good
Yeah.
film. You
Yeah.
should watch that.
There's other films doing these same kind of things much better.
Yeah.
If you want a person who's like getting in different disguises going into a thing, like watch Catch Me If You Can. That's
Oh,
amazing.
that's a great
Yeah.
film.
Yeah.
Luce, you need to put a poll on with our socials to see if people would rather watch Assassin's Creed or The Killer, a Michael Bender
yes,
killer film.
okay, good idea. Noted.
Is he the actual killer in that?
Yeah, I think he is the... Well, it's... Have you played the Assassin's Creed games?
No.
It's all about somebody in the present who has memories of their past life when they were in the Assassin's Guild and stuff.
Oh.
So it's quite cool.
Right.
So the last category we look at is masterpiece ability. Abby, what's your score?
So I went 3.5 for this.
Oh, nice.
I think despite everything that we've said, bearing in mind that we've just learned that David Fincher is my favourite director, I think there were bits where you could sort of see that it was good. Like the shots were good, the shots were nice. I didn't want to watch every one of them.
3.5 out of 5, nice.
That's a lot, isn't
It's
it?
really high. So, Dan, if that seems high to you, what did you give it?
I gave it a 2.
Luce, what did you give it?
I gave it a 2.
Oh, and I'm kind of in the middle, 2.5.
Ooh.
Okay, Dan, do you want to go over why you gave it a 2?
Yeah, technically, there were some things in this film, I think like you were saying, Ab, which I thought, okay, this is really good. When that first shot when it kind of differentiated between the killer's vision and what you were seeing outside, whereby you being able to either hear the music as if you were inside his head, or when you were like outside his vision, it was like really tinny. That was like a really well done piece of like cinematography and like audio design. And there was some like shots which were really nice. For me, I feel like if this was like one of David Fincher's first films and you watched it like 20 years ago, you'd be like, oh, okay, this guy's got some promise. If he's going to make another film and there's better like source material or there's another script behind it, it could be excellent. But this one just was so boring.
I think a film about a bunch of people with no name that you don't care about at all, doing stuff for like 5 minutes. Each one of them was only in it for 5 minutes, other than the killer, who you didn't really like.
Yeah.
You didn't care about his girlfriend. I didn't want her to die, but I didn't care really either way.
Yeah, that's it.
Like,
Yeah,
what's the point?
That's it. None of the characters had any like backstory or
No.
any
No.
like anything really. So
And it's fine to say, oh, that's the point, like with killers. That only takes you so far, because you still don't care,
which is
even if
why
that
you
was
don't
the
make a
point.
film about that.
I guess it came across very like emotionless, which I think is the point. I think is what they were going for.
Yeah.
So if that's the aim, then
Great.
mission complete.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I give you a 2 for that. However,
That is 2 fingers up from Lucy there.
yeah, 2 fingers for masturbability. No, but it just wasn't an enjoyable film for me.
Yeah, that's exactly what mine was. I appreciate what they did, and I think it ticked every box of what they wanted to do. But what they wanted to do was not make a film that I enjoyed. So it didn't get all the points.
Like
But,
specifically, they were like,
Yeah,
we do not want Sam
but
to
I think
enjoy
they wanted like a film that lacked emotion, that was kind of boring but had the odd like interesting scene. And some of those scenes were really good, but just wasn't enough. I won't watch this film again.
Yeah, because there's probably people out there that complain about films having too much emotion, too much backstory. You know, when you watch X Factor and people like going on about their sob stories, and you're like, eye roll.
Yeah.
Perhaps they just want just cut to the chase,
Yeah.
purely action. Well, for some parts,
Arty. It was kind of arty,
yeah,
wasn't it?
and then just none of the like fluffiness that
I mean,
actually I like.
if you are a killer, you'll probably enjoy this as a good glimpse into the industry.
It's a very
Yeah.
niche market.
No, but
Yeah.
so
We
one
think.
of the things that I read was that David Fincher, he wanted to control literally everything to the point where he watched a bit with subtitles and it said like the birds were chirping or something. And he didn't like that language and got them to change it. And then he went through all the subtitles saying what he wanted, because he was like, instead of the birds were chirping, birds chirped, or like whatever, to make it just like
Oh, I
as.
see.
So there was a lot of real
Yeah.
precision work went into it, which I guess for a certain type of person they would like, but it's probably not what we're looking for, because we're looking for enjoyment.
Yeah, we do this for fun.
Yeah.
That's the thing. We're not like film students. We're not like.
But the thing is, like,
No.
Old Boy, our first film we reviewed, which is available to listen to, is not an overly
Everybody
enjoyable
listen.
film in terms of making you feel good about yourself, but it's so entertaining in its
Yeah,
kind of
true.
shock
Yeah.
value that we
Yeah.
really liked it.
But every single character has a lot there, even though you don't go. You do go into their backstory a bit. You do go into their backstory a bit, but every character is like super. They have a depth to them.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, it's just no.
That's one of the most interesting things about doing this podcast for me, because we all are like lay people, like you say, just liking films. But you could probably start to pull out the threads, if one will, of what we like as a film
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
out of what we've liked. Because previously we'd have been like, you like superhero films, you like this, you like that. But what we like is like character heavy,
Yeah.
Yeah.
real investment, care about what they're doing and why they're doing it.
Yeah.
And other than that, we kind of don't mind what they're actually up to or what genre it is or
Yeah, true.
anything, as
Yeah.
long as the characters are like on point
Yeah.
and a bit likable.
Throw in some incest.
Oh,
Just
for sure.
as long as you've got some good characters in there, that's fine.
Yeah.
We'll take it.
We'll take it.
Yeah.
So with all that, we are giving The Killer a total score of 22 out of 60.
Which
Yay.
is lower than Dirty Dancing.
Oh yeah, it's true.
Whoa.
Well, that is quite the statement, isn't it?
I actually love Dirty
I know, me too.
Dancing.
I mean,
I don't know what the fuck
After
happened
watching
there.
this, like, absolutely.
Thank you for coming along to this week's Lads Film Club and joining us while we discussed The Killer.
We'd love to know what you thought about it too. Did you actually enjoy this, or are you just saying you enjoyed it because everyone else did? Let us know on our Twitter or Insta or in the comments on YouTube or anything, and we genuinely do all read them, so please get in touch.
So if you enjoyed listening to our podcast, please leave us a 5-star rating and a review which says that we're good.
And don't forget to share it with your own lads.
And share it with everybody. Remember, we're not picky.
But maybe not Michael Fassbender. Not for this one. Actually, genuinely don't share this with Michael Fassbender because we really love him and we're sorry.
I think his acting
He
was
did a
very
great
good
job.
in it.
Yeah,
I
you
thought
were
this was
great.
good.
I want to redo all my scores.
Bring back The Good Place.
No, that ended perfectly.
Yeah,
it did actually.
yeah.
So grab your popcorn.
Round up your lads.
Get watching.
And join us next week.
Bye. Also, now I'm so curious as to what that would be.
Hand job gone wrong.
I
Yeah.
know. What happened there?
The penis just came off.
Or it's just the longest film in the world.
I was thinking more like a Chinese burn type situation. Like a real salt and pepper shaker. Like.
Oh my God.